Childhood, the age of innocence, the only period in our lives when the mind is cocooned by the essence of purity and tenderness. This is a time when the mind is passionately curious to explore the world and therefore has no boundaries to this curiosity. Whatever a child sees or listens to becomes engraved as a memory in the brain. And we are all aware of the fact that a child's mind is like a flexible piece of clay that can be molded in many ways to give a unique form of existence. Thus, we are all unique and we are meant to live together in this world. This is one of the biggest teachings that we are supposed to pass on to our children, right? But what if a child is forced to drift towards learning the opposite? What if a child's mind gets manipulated to such a level that his actions become equivalent to committing a heinous crime? What if something goes way beyond than just being a mischief? In this video, let's take a deep dive and understand the world of Natkhat, a short film now streaming on Voot Select. The film opens with the sound of running. We are introduced to a young boy who is probably 6 to 7 years old. His name is Sonu. He's running to catch a ball with a big smile on his face. After capturing his struggle with a handheld camera, his grand victory of catching the ball is being framed with a low-angle shot. This shot helps to convey the sheer happiness of the boy and how he considers himself to be a mighty victorious big guy after completing the challenge. He quickly celebrates his victory, but his celebration is interrupted with a foul statement coming in from another boy who is much older than him. And our little warrior has no option but to reply like an adult. This is how we are quickly transported into a world which has no place for innocence. The scenery of this place is devoid of lush green foliage that helps to establish the barren and bleak mindset of this world. The audience starts exploring this world from the eyes of this little warrior whose curiosity navigates his attention towards another group of elder boys. He secretly starts listening to their conversation. These boys prove to be a bunch of sinful hunters planning to capture and slaughter their next prey in order to satiate their lustful hunger. The young kid knows their plan, but of course, his mind is currently incapable of processing the evil nature of that conversation. I personally love this treatment of any narrative when the audience knows way more than the lead characters. And in this case, we know what's exactly going on amongst those boys. But Sonu is way too innocent to understand any of this. Once the conversation is over, our protagonist sprints towards those boys and starts complimenting them by saying, "आप तो सच में टाइगर श्रॉफ हो, क्या लाते मारी थी उस दिन राम तिलक को, मज़ा आ गया." This shows how his young mind has translated the image of an actor with a muscular physique and is comparing that actor's scripted bravery with the real notorious nature of these guys. This shows how the innocence of this child has already started to contaminate due to the grip of a sickening camaraderie. In the next shot, we find ourselves in the campus of a school, a temple of knowledge that plays a key role in nurturing young minds. It's lunch break, and we see a group of 4 girls eating together. Then a boy starts pranking them by holding their braids and acts as if they are the 4 horses of his chariot. Just a few moments later, another girl comes and slaps the boy. She tries to scare him by holding a stone in her hand. The boy gets so furious that he starts planning to do something unbelievable. Our little protagonist becomes a part of this plan, and then the handheld camera captures the most horrific display of rage stemming from that same contaminated mindset inspired from those evil deeds that ruined the image of the opposite gender for these kids. While the camera continues to remain shaky, we notice a cotton candy seller crossing the white frame. The size of this character has been kept really small because Hitchcock's rule says that the size of any object in your frame should be proportional to its importance to the story in that moment. Cotton candy is a symbol of innocence and is a sweet memory of childhood. But in the context of this location where the incident takes place, it doesn't matter too much. These two incidents successfully establish the agonizing moral conflict of the story. The story of a deep rooted patriarchal society breathing the air of misogyny, a place where masculinity is considered to be synonymous with harming the opposite gender, a place where the feminine presence of human beings is just a joke. In fact, teasing and troubling the opposite gender has become a sport for men. And this abominable likeness towards this sport is being passed on from one generation to the next. To witness the adverse effects of this acquired societal legacy, the audience is invited inside Sonu's home, a rural Indian household that has germinated under the influence of the same sense of entitlement that has plagued the mindset of every man out there. In this house, Sonu introduces us to his mother, who also plays the role of a daughter-in-law and a wife. But most importantly, she has the responsibility of playing a mentor for our protagonist. The audience is further acquainted with the relationship of this lovely duo by a quick conversation around how Sonu spent his day and what he learned at school. But most importantly, we notice how Sonu already considers himself to be an adult. सोनू की माँ उससे कहती है कि आ गया मेरा नटखट लाला फिर से गदर मचाने, और सोनू कहता है कि छोड़ दो मुझे माँ, मैं बड़ा हो गया हूँ. Sonu is always hungry for jalebis, but his mother refuses his request by saying जलेबी सिर्फ साफ सुथरे बच्चों को ही मिलती है. We all should remember this line because this one comment from Sonu's mother is going to change the life of our little protagonist forever. This household is managed by three gatekeepers of misogyny and entitlement. Their cannibalistic and oppressive nature towards the opposite gender is hinted by using an extreme close-up of their mouth chewing food, and the Foley helps in corroborating their savage persona. Then we have a close-up of Sonu eating his food without making any noise. Like I mentioned before, we witness the adverse effects of this acquired societal legacy ruining this particular household by poisoning the entire outlook of the opposite gender in the eyes of men belonging to not just 3 but 4 different age groups. This is the reason why these close-ups help a lot in terms of whispering what is going to happen next. Plus, the color and growth of the mustaches is a great visual motif for representing the transfer of this pathetic viewpoint from one generation to the other. And unfortunately, Sonu has already started to absorb that same botched mentality. But it's not too late for this little brat to understand and reflect upon his mistakes.
His mother gets shocked after realizing the hidden truth about her young child,
and she decides to take the matter in her own hands. The mentor of our protagonist takes charge of making necessary amendments for Sonu so that he can get out of this mentality and become a ray of hope for everyone out there. And the best way for a mother to teach her child is by telling a story. The story about the bitter truth of this world. The story about how the foundation of equality in this world has been crippled to such an extent that the possibility of a major downfall of civilization is on the cards. I know that it sounds like an exaggeration, but it is actually becoming a reality. At least for Sonu's mother, it has already become a living nightmare. And in order to save the future generation from getting consumed by this Satanist regime, a strong-willed mother gathers all her strength to educate her child. From being a part of causing chaos, she wants her son to become the harbinger of change and restore a state of order in this world. Natkhat is just 30 minutes long, but the narrative is filled with numerous subtextual components that allow the filmmakers to demonstrate each and every layer of this society. The full 16:9 aspect ratio, coupled with calculated use of handheld camera, gives an absolute realistic touch to the story. and forces the audience to keep their eyes wide open in order to understand the depth of the situation. This aspect ratio helps in capturing the complete reality, and I personally love this combination. Also, I really want to appreciate the crew for infusing the shots with a very good foley, that is, the reproduction of everyday sounds and activities. I mean, I don't remember the last time when I heard the foley of a character rubbing oil on her hands. Again, a very useful trick for amplifying the level of realism in the story. I missed watching Natkhat during VR1 Global Film Festival, but I am glad that this film is now available for OTT viewing, and I loved watching it. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts about Natkhat in the comments, and I will see you soon in the next one. Till then, my name is Porush. Thank you so much for watching. Long live cinema. You can support this channel by hitting the red subscribe button and pressing the bell icon so that you don't miss any updates.